Now here is the Let's Stay Together show with Reverend Ricardo McCain and author Brenda McCain, helping you to rebuild your relationships with God.
All right. Welcome to the Let's Stay Together show. I'm your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. You doing good?
I'm doing good. I can barely hear you. We got these new things and I can't hear.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you because I'm right next to you. But, hey, now I can hear you much better. Thank you, Jonathan. That's my boy. We keeping Jonathan regardless of what they say. Jonathan's ride or die, baby.
And they better not be saying nothing about him. Okay.
Go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Welcome to the Let's Stay Together Talk radio show where we learn the rhythms of our relationships. And to know our glory, you have to do what?
You've got to know our backstory. You got to work on that. That was kind of dry, though.
Okay, well, let's start it all over
since
you're going to bust me out.
Didn't you kind of sound dry, Tracy?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Welcome to the Let's Stay Together Talk radio show where we learn the rhythms of all relationships, and to know our glory, you have to do what, babe?
You've got to know our backstory.
That's right. Is that better?
That is much better. See, I'm always up.
Okay, well, I'm not. So anyway, tonight's topic is current situations, from Black Lives Matter to the church shootings in Charleston to believing you are black when you were born white, and much, much more. To help us talk about what's going on around the world is our very own Tracy Howard on the McCain train tonight. Woo, woo, woo. And we're going to give you a quick scripture before we could get right into it. Ephesians 2:14 says, For he himself is our peace, who has made us both one and has broken down in his flesh. Let me start that over.
Yeah, you're really messing up
my
now.
Medicine,
This is live too, and
it is.
Tracy, we're going to have
and
a replacement for us.
My
medicine, yeah, okay.
It is from the root canal. It is.
Root canal.
Anyway, Ephesians 2:14 says, For he himself is our peace, who has made us both one and has broken down in his flesh the dividing wall of hostility. This is on the verge of what we will be talking about tonight. Call in when you get to listen to some of these topics. Hey. Call in at 312-754-4333.
All right. We've got a wonderful person here, Tracy, that's going to be with us in today. Tracy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Hey, we're going to be talking about as you call the current situations. And one of the things that's just been, just flying, just like burning the internet, burning television. Everybody's talking about the situation what happened at the Charleston, South Carolina situation where church members were killed because of a young man who had a kind of a thought process that, African Americans, black as you will, were kind of taking over the country, and he wanted to set an example by killing these African Americans and causing what they said was a race war. And it's been a hot topic. One of the things I do like about this topic so far is that what the gentleman tried to cause didn't transpire. There has not been a race war. Actually, it has been a race unity. We've been unifying with each other. And so what he tried to do, which is the same thing back in the days about 20 years ago, Timothy McVeigh tried to do as well, just try to start a race war. It didn't happen then. It's not happening now. And it's great to see that, the United States of America, regardless to what happened, will stand up and rally to. Let's talk a little bit about this gentleman who started this situation. What was the name of this young man again? I'm trying to find the name. Dylan.
His name was Dylan Roof or
Dylan.
Roth or
Dylan. Was it Strom Roof?
Mm-hmm.
And
21-year-old.
20-year-old white man, white young man who, as I was reading some of the information about it, he had a difficult past, kind of secluded young man, and it was interesting with some of the things that people were saying about him. Some people are calling him terrorist. They're bringing the scenario together with some of the things that happened in Sunnybrook. Sandy Hook, I should say, where Sunnybrook, that's a TV show here, Sandy Hook, where a situation happened at. But one of the things I read on here with this one person was saying that, they put it together with that and said one of the mothers who was emotionally disturbed herself kept a stockpile of weapons. And she felt that the way that she can get her son out of feeling shy was to teach him how to shoot guns. And that was the young man who in the Sunny Hook killed all of those children. I think it's saying about 26 of them died, and 20 of them was under 7 years old. And then another person by the name of Elliot Rogers in Santa Barbara, this person had a hatred towards some women, and he decided that his choice of weapons was, carrying out guns and shooting and killing people as well. And so they're basically showing a pattern how guns are causing a problem. So I want to bring you all in and kind of get your thought process about this, because we were talking a little bit before we was on the air. Was it a racial issue? Was it a gun issue? Or was it both of them? So, Tracy, you was talking about that, so I'm going to let you start off on your thought process of it.
Yeah, even though I understand that a lot of people are saying that it's a race issue, I do believe that it is a gun issue. I think that it wouldn't matter what color this person was, be he black, white, green, purple, that the whole point of everything is that without the guns, it would not have been as big of an issue as it is.
Yeah, and Brenda, you were saying something about that. You know how we do it. When our guest is not here, we just jump in. So, well, you were commenting on that as well.
It's both, but we could automatically say, yeah, it's a gun issue. But I truly, truly believe that was a race crime, because it seemed like the more you hear about Dylan's story, he was groomed by someone else. The media is saying he wasn't even smart enough to pull this off himself, because he dropped out of high school in 9th grade, couldn't read, and the letter that he written was so elegantly written by a person that's believing Confederacy, supremacy, supreme law and everything. But for him, I really do believe he was groomed with someone older, probably, I'm not saying KKK, but someone who taught him to hate black people. But the most sad thing about this whole situation was they let him come to Bible study. I mean, when I say let him come, it was, in the church, you're open to be there. They wrapped their arms around him to sit in Bible study. You are a demented person that need help. If you're going to sit there inside of a sacred place and listen to the pastor, go through Bible study, talk to the people as if you're their friend, and then you kill them, all because of two statements that I'm tired of these black people raping our women, and that's a whole nother story, because they sure don't have to rape them. They're raping our women, and they're just taking over the world, meaning the fact that, okay, President Obama is president, the highest, role you could play in America. He didn't like that. Now, to me, my personal reason is more racism than the guns. And I know everybody had their different opinions, but Dylan needs some help wherever he's going.
Yeah, and basically, he was trying to start a race war, and, coming into a church nowadays is not as significant as it used to be. People don't look at the church as sacred as much as they should anymore. It still is. But the thought process of going into the church, doing something that sensationalizes the whole thing, it's so much more sensationalized going in there and killing 9 people in a church than it would be killing someone on the street or in a drugstore or something like that, because people are more, they have more sympathy toward it, because, the church is considered sacred, but
and the hospital,
those who are, doing it don't look at it anymore. They look at it. It provides a sensationalism that they're looking for.
But one of the things that you said, Brenda, about him being so young and not educated enough, but we look at our young people on the streets now, like I say, again, regardless of what color they are, and they're using guns and having gun violence against each other. And I don't think that his age or his education really made a difference in his decisions. Now, one of the things that you did say that I agree with is the fact that he was groomed. And I can't remember, but like how we take some of these, I don't want to say racist, but some of these people with different backgrounds, and we groom these young people to do these things, how they used to get them to go into war with the, what do you call those things, the bombs on them and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I do believe that the grooming of him probably did make a very big difference. Yeah. And the sensationalism, like you said, of going into the church. Because like you said, if he had gone into a laundromat and shot up some people, people would just say, oh, yeah, it was a shooting in a laundromat. But the fact that it was a shooting in a church made such a big difference. And I think this is actually what he wanted, like you said, to happen.
Yeah. And, the scenario that's kind of striking and somewhat kind of scary is that some people are also saying that this is a benevolent sexism, where back in the old days when they used to lynch African Americans, one of the things that they felt that they were doing it for, that Caucasians or white men were doing it for back then, that they were killing black men because they said they were raping our women. They were protecting their women. And there was a lot of women that went out there and fought against that because it was something wrong. Some white women even in the day back then, her name was Jessie Daniel Ames, I should say. And back in the 1920s, they fought against that because it was wrong for you to say that you're protecting me. And so the women she was a civil rights leader at the time, and she was upset about it because she was saying, one, you're looking at that I'm property because you're saying that you're protecting your women as property. And two, you're using a false reason, I should say, for why you're doing this because, one, they're not raping us. And, back in the 1920s, I can't even think any African-American or black man having the audacity back then to try to rape someone. But to use that and that you're raping our women is synonymous with hangings in the back in the days because that's what they use as a reason for hanging someone. So there's got a lot of terminology that's involved in what he's saying, and he has been in some ways, brainwashed into believing that what he's doing is saving the country.
Yeah, because that's that mentality. When it comes to grooming, you brainwash that individual to believe, to take on my views and opinions, and to believe to the core that it is correct. Because his backstory is not like what they were saying. His stepmother said, he was raised in a good Christian household. She's not married to the man now, but she said, we didn't see none of that. He was a quiet young guy, but he wasn't violent or anything, didn't start problems, didn't do any of the stuff that they're saying that he's doing now. And the question was, do you believe, as the stepmother from what you raised before, do you believe this child was capable of doing it? And she was honest, probably so, because during the time she wasn't there, she don't know who the stronghold that was, raising him, and besides the father, if he was even around him. Because the thing is, in all honesty, I like what she says, a step parent, that you don't know. I do believe that he might have been capable of doing those things. I'm not going to lie, like most parents, my child would never do. Do you know what your child doing?
But that's the same as what's going on now. We go to funerals of our young men and young women, and we heard, oh yeah, well, they were shot down by the police because they were robbing a store. They had a gun, and then we'd be like, no, that's not the young man or the young lady that I know.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have two faces and everything, because there's a lot of people just say, oh, I didn't know he would do that. You never know what someone's capable of. But I always say your personality and your character, it doesn't change or stray as much.
Also the family unit is not as close-knit as it used to be. We don't have that same, understanding or that connection with the family like mama used to have or daddy used to have. These kids are now being raised by television and video games and things of that nature. And art, life does imitate art, because a lot of these games out there are killing people. They're showing someone how to kill them. So it's not like, again, I use the word sensationalism. It's not like that mother is sitting there and she's paying attention to the game. All she's understanding is that it's keeping his, it's occupying his time.
Well,
so
I could do what I need to do.
so I could do what I do. And so we fail sometimes to actually talk to our children anymore like we used to because, nowadays there is no downtime with television. Television